In regards to the one, two, three punch, I feel mindset is the biggest issue for me. Now, not so much with speech anymore. I think because I now have seen the proof that I can do all the things. So I just know unconsciously, but also consciously that I can speak fluently. But where I struggle more with all this thinking and affirmations is, let's say, in other aspects. Like how do you go about it and retrain your mind if you don't have proof yet of something? Let's say, for example, I mean, it's not really my goal, but let's say my goal was I want to be a millionaire. I am a billionaire. I am a billionaire. Well, my mind knows no, my bank account shows me I'm not a billionaire. So how do you go about training your mind for things where you don't have the proof yet?
Good question, Patricia. Achieving my reasonable goals. Now, if I'm trying to grow wings and fly like an eagle, that isn't going to happen. And becoming a billionaire, frankly, that's not likely to happen either. However, if I set some reasonable goals about accomplishing, I can do better than I'm doing. I can become the manager of the fast food place that I'm working in, as an example, and elevate my salary that way. I can also work on the weekends doing something else a little bit if I'm really short strapped for money or need it for my children or whatever. Setting reasonable goals and mapping out a plan to accomplish them and following the plan step by step by step and believing that you can. Most of you can and will achieve your reasonable goals. Most of you can do that. Don't expect someone else to do it for you. That's not going to happen. But you can achieve your reasonable goals. So I think it's a great question, and set reasonable goals, put a time frame on them that's reasonable, and stay with it. I think back at when I was in my 20s, I had nothing. And I used to be terribly fearful. I had two sons and a wife, and I was broke. And I said, well, how am I ever? My father died, and how was I ever going to do anything? And, I kind of worked my way through it. And I guess by some people's definition, I became wealthy. Depends on the person. But in other words, reasonable goals, good plans, a lot of consistency, and a core belief that you can and will achieve most of your reasonable goals. Great question, Patricia.
I actually have a similar question to Patricia. What happens, like for example, an affirmation I love is I love to speak, I love to speak, I love to speak. I say it again and again and again. What happens if someone doesn't love to speak and just say it again and again and again? How is it the most effective way to make it things and make it land?
Well, everyone here has experienced a different level of stuttering. Everyone's stuttering problem is unique. And it's a question of the type of stuttering, and it's a question of the severity, and it's a question of the tenure. So, depending upon those three elements, the answer to the question would vary dramatically. And we don't, I would say I wrote a 700-page book on this subject, and I can't regurgitate it here. But there are answers, and we begin. It's like in all journey. The Confucius said the longest journey begins with the first step. Well, that's really what we do with stutter. We begin with the first step. We see where does the person, the stutterer, have to speak on a regular basis? Where are they having bad incidents one after another? We go where we're forced to speak, and we begin to develop defensive methods to avoid. We must stop bad incidents. We will never overcome stuttering if we don't develop a way to stop bad incidents. So the answers are unique, but we have methods for stopping bad incidents for everybody here. And they're a little bit different. And you got to read and you got to maybe talk to a coach or study the books, watch the program, do the mobile app, and so forth. All this stuff will help you. Look, there's nobody here who can't do it. And you did it, of course, Sebastian. So, you know, you can give this lecture as well as listen to my answers.
If we, in terms of affirmations, just say the words, but don't actually believe it, I think the impact it has is going to be much less if you actually believe it,
Oh,
you
well,
know?
I agree with you 100%. You
Exactly.
can't, belief means you do believe it and you have a conviction and a confidence in it. If you don't, it's not a belief. So
Exactly.
nothing I said will work. You know, you
That's,
can't
that's,
say I'm going to grow wings like a bird and fly because I know I'm not.
yeah.
So
And,
I'm never
but
going to do that.
yes, yes, exactly right. And the point I wanted to make is if you have all the right affirmations, like for example, I love to speak, but if you say it without believing them, you basically just say it again and again and again because it's kind of a habit without the intention behind. In a sense, it doesn't mean much because you need the belief behind it. That's the point I wanted to make. You know, it's really important to have the belief accompany the words because the words at the end of the day are just wind, but you actually have to believe
I,
them.
Sebastian, I agree with you in substantial part, but I put the word substantial in front of it. I think that we can, by repeating things, gradually change our beliefs and create a belief. Repetition and visualization of ourselves doing whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish will, in many cases, overcome or provide an ability to do something. Now, look, if you're trying to play tennis and you'll never pick up a racket and practice playing tennis, you can sit on the bench all day long and talk about how great you are. You're not going to become, you've got to do the natural human things, but when you do those things and you have the belief and you keep telling yourself that you do, you're going to get steadily better. And yes, ability has something to do with it, obviously, but most of us, Sebastian, can accomplish a great deal more than we do. Most of us.
And just to throw my comments in, I'll be totally transparent with everyone here. When I first joined this program, I was just saying the affirmations because that's what Lee advised all his readers to do in the book. But after so much repetition after repetition, I want to say after a month or two, I really started to believe what I was telling myself. So even though you don't believe it in the beginning, trust me, just keep reciting your affirmations twice, sometimes three times a day. And eventually a day will come in which you truly believe every single affirmation you're telling yourself. So
Real quick, I just wanted to say when I first started affirmations, nothing happened for a month, like zero. I could not tell any difference. And then almost exactly 4 weeks since I started doing it, then suddenly my first thought instead of a panic was my affirmation. So my affirmation was think a crutch when you hit a block. And I did it over and over and over and over, daily affirmations, and it took me a month until I saw anything. But it did happen and I didn't give up. But then as soon as I hit a block, my first thought was, oh, okay, now I got to pick a crutch. So it's not like you're believing something that isn't true. You're just retraining your mind. And it does take time, but it does work.